Okay, so it is 6:31 on Tuesday, March 11th. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Woodstock Village Board of Trustees. The first item on the agenda is additions and deletions to the posted agenda. Are there any additions or deletions?
I have two. One, I'd like to add the appointment of a short-term rental officer,
Okay,
which would be Emily Collins.
put that under votes.
Yeah.
Or do we have to vote on that? Or you?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And then I don't need an executive session, but I don't know if the trustees do, so.
Yes, we're gonna keep that. Okay, do you just want to put her just the first? That should be pretty
Yeah.
easy. So Emily STR. Okay, any other additions or deletions?
I don't have anything.
Trustees?
No.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments?
Wendy has her hand up.
Okay. Wendy, you have a comment?
I do. It's more of a question.
Okay.
My name's Wendy Marinin. I'm a village resident. I'm asking on the behalf of a friend who was able to attend one of the gatherings at Tribu Park. And the question is that the observation is the flag is at half mast, and the question is why?
It needs to be put back.
Yeah.
Oh, and what would be the channels to do that?
We asked, that was up for Jimmy Carter when he passed away, so we had down for a month, I believe, so we'll put that back up.
That's what we thought was Jimmy Carter, but then, yeah, okay, great. So that's that, thank you.
Okay, any other citizen comments? Anybody else online?
Seaton? I'm just letting you know that I'm here if you guys have any questions regarding any of the permits this evening. So you can reach out to me at any time.
Great, thank you. Yeah, come on. Yeah, where do we put citizen comments now? It's not a thing.
Let me move voting back over. Sorry.
Do you need help?
Yes, very simple. This place was great.
Oh.
It really does.
Tell him, yes, and Kitty
And
and
it's just so refreshing. It really great.
it does look nice, yes.
It doesn't look like doom anymore.
Yeah,
If I could, I just wanna, that's mostly Stephanie Apfeller, Molly Maxim, and Evan Collins are the ones who pick the colors out to make sure it looks well, so.
It's just stunning different.
yeah,
Good, it was great.
Yeah, thank you.
agreed. Okay, any other comments? Okay. Then we'll move on to reports versus the manager's report. Eric?
Yeah, so a few things. One, the Billfield Bridge is in, that got put in last week, I believe. So we're excited about that. The one behind the Welcome Center will be later in the spring. So we'll have that done as soon as possible. The town had a successful town meeting last Saturday. Everything on the warning passed overwhelmingly. Pretty good turnout, about 115 people voted by paper ballots. And then I believe about 600 people voted on Tuesday for select board and the petition articles. So that was good. With that in mind, we have a village meeting next Tuesday. So auction ballot during the day and then village meeting at night. I wanted the public works. There's no snow in the forecast, knock on wood. Snow starting to melt. So hopefully we have very little sand left. So hopefully this is the last storm that we go through. I just want to thank them for all their work. I saw one of them Sunday at a restaurant in town, and they deserve a break. So hopefully we get one for a little while. And finally, I just want to make a note. Meg Porrox is a temp worker who's been working for us since this summer. And right now she's actually going through, we believe there is about $100,000 that was never asked for reimbursement through one of our funds, and she's been going through sorting that out and being pretty successful so far. So it's acknowledge her good work as she's trying to find such money for us.
Nice, thank you, Meg. Yes, we'll take it.
Reimbursement from where?
The USP building. And if everyone met Meg, she's like a light of sunshine. She's so happy and friendly and just does a lot of work. So I was going to acknowledge all that. In terms, or any questions on the manager's reports?
Frank, Brenda? Okay. We'll move on to your financial report, please.
Yeah, so, we're still haven't been updated payroll from, the paychecks, integration. We're still kind of just sorting out the bugs on that end to make payroll easier for our employees. But we had our full numbers last week. We're about 67% away through the year, and we're about 7% expended through the year to kind of right on track to where we should be. So that's positive news. That's all the kind of updates I have. I'm happy to answer more questions if anyone has them.
Well, when it comes to payroll, executive, under executive salaries and wages, we're almost at 44%.
Yep.
Why is that, that's lagging?
Yeah.
The same, is that connected? to
Yeah,
it?
so it's all salary. So basically, since mid-November, salaries have not been updated in the NEMRIC system because we started processing them through the new payroll software. And we still wait for them to give us the right data to transfer back over.
Okay. Two more questions on that same page, the trustees refund. Do we know if there is a plan to prune, plant, or? I haven't heard of her.
I believe John sent a plan in the fall, but
Yeah.
I'll double check.
Yeah, the last I heard was in the fall,
Yeah,
but, we're getting close to, that should be happening.
yeah. I'll make another to reject them.
That'd be great. And when do we pay that West parking?
I believe the bill actually just came in the last week or two.
Okay,
Yeah. I don't believe we processed payment for it yet.
right, okay. Thank you.
Do you have any questions about financial? No. Brenda, Frank?
No.
Okay. Okay, next, we're moving on to votes. Let's start with Emily.
Yeah, so, the newish short-term rental ordinance that passed in the village, this past spring, called for a kind of short-term, rental officer to kind of be in charge of the program, current software, and then also enforcement. Emily Collins is one of the new land use coordinators in the office. She has expressed an interest in being in that position. So tonight I'm asking trustees to vote to approve her to be in the short-term rental officer. Give us a little more oversight on the program, work with the software, see if there's better software, cheaper software we could use, and also make sure people follow the rules, as much as we can.
Awesome. Trustees, do you have any questions about Emily? No? Jeffrey?
No, I don't have a question. This is not a separate new, addition financially.
No, it's in the course of her normal position.
No, we added that during additions and deletions.
No, I think knowing that it was more money.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
no, there's no,
apologies. Sorry.
it's just part of the role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It was always gonna be the planning director's, role, but so it's gonna be just her instead.
Okay. All right, great.
Brenda, Frank, any questions about Emily's role?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad that she's taking that over, that she feels comfortable enough. So I would make a motion to appoint Emily Collins as our STR coordinator for the village. Is there a second?
Second,
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Sorry, Jeff, I just found one thing.
Yeah.
You book the way up the financial report is the parking revenue,
Oh,
for
okay.
February 2025. It looks at the total for February 2025 is $8,814. That's down from last year of $10,516 and down from 2023 of $10,407.
Is that because Rob is backing out, there's something different, the way he's collecting it right now?
No, so these numbers are the same numbers they've always been. What these numbers don't show is the actual percentage that the parking company takes away each pay period, which I believe is over 15%.
yeah, this is the growth.
This is the growth, yeah.
Yeah, which is a bit, disappointing and unusual that it's dropped.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some conversations with business owners the last 2 weeks and they've kind of expressed lower than normal business, over the last month or so. I mean, you may speak differently, Chicky, but, the few I've talked to seem, if not steady, then lower than before. And then hoping for higher with the better skiing this winter. So it's a little bit of a concern.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not a trend.
Correct.
Any other questions? Okay, then I'm gonna turn, the gavel over to Jeffrey for this next item, because it's part of Woodstock. I'm pulling the gavel.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Stephen McElroy, and I am one of the co-chairs and co-founders of Pride of Woodstock, which will be happening in Woodstock, the 6th, 7th, and 8th of June this year. Very excited. I am here today because we want to amend our application, our parade application, which is to shut down parts of Elm Street for our second annual high heel race. This year we anticipate about 100 participants. Last year we had about 50, and then we had about 300 to 500 people show up just to watch. So that was exciting. So I've been talking with Chris O'Keefe about how we can do this very safely, especially in the wake of what happened in New Orleans with people with a car driving through crowded streets. So you'll see in your packet that I have an updated map that shows closing the full Elm Street between the hours of 10 and 11. The race, we will start our red carpet at 10 o'clock, and the race will happen at 10:30. So we might be able to open the street up before 11, but we're gonna go to 11 there. The shorter part of Elm Street, that's from Pleasant down to Central, that we'd already asked to be closed from 8 to 11, just for setup and that sort of thing. But we wanna keep that whole space, that whole road closed off so that there's not even a chance that cars can get close. Again, I've talked to Chris O'Keefe, and he's confident that we can put an officer, which of course Pride is happy to pay for, at River and Elm. Then again on Pleasant and Elm, and then an officer at Central and Elm. And then cars at each one of those spots, so it's blocking the entire street so that you can't get a car through at all. He's also talked about maybe having an officer somewhere else as well to observe, but I'll do those details with him. But he's pretty confident that we could put detour signs out at a couple of different locations. Again, you can see that on your map. Putting the detour signs near the covered bridge so people know that they can get from River to Central that way. Detour sign up at River and Elm so that they know that they can't get through that way. And then detour sign at Pleasant and Central. In addition, we will create our own detour signs that Pride will print up so that we'll put out a couple of days ahead of time at sort of the entrances to the village to let people know that it will be closed down. In addition, we will also be handing out letters to all the businesses and homes on that street, so they're aware. And of course, we'll be doing listserv posts to keep everybody aware of what's happening. So our ask is to expand the closure for the rest of Elm Street from 10 to 11 that day.
Okay. And it was closed last year, but it wasn't blocked off the way you described.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, would you like us to make a motion to approve that?
I mean,
They changed
You're
the
in charge, I
amendment?
would love to.
All right, I move that we amend your permit for Pride to include the new details of closing Elm Street as you just detailed, and as we have a map that shows. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Is there any conversation, trustees?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. But more questions
Yeah,
on your Woodstock, continuing, but this, that's Woodstock, never mind.
no.
I put the page. That's for Johnston.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And would anybody like any Pride stickers?
Sure.
Yeah. Everybody, Pride stickers. Oh, wow. You got it.
Dayton, I do have a question. Do you have a medic on hand? I understand the high heels are gonna be stricter
You know what?
this year.
No one fell yesterday.
I
No one
know, but you're
fell
gonna have
or tripped.
more racers. I thought that you got the high really good high
And
heels?
you have a mandatory.
Yes, we changed it. It's a mandatory 2 inches this year, because last year people were trying to do these kitten heels. And then they have to be actual heels, because last year people were taking like blocks of wood and taping, like duct taping them onto the bottom of the other shoes, so. We won't have that.
I'm not saying it.
Yeah, well, I switched my shoes. No platforms anymore. It's gotta be a real 2 inches, but we will be doing a high heel drive soon,
You're
so.
gonna need a medic.
Well, yes, David is ready to go. 2-minute response time. Thank you, trustees. So next item on the agenda is Woodstock. Talking about the Montverde Mini on the green. Is that John? Oh, no, that's Joe.
Yes,
John's there. Okay.
yeah, Joe. Yeah, Joe, I'll introduce it if that's okay, and then I think there might be some questions, and you would be best to answer those, if that's all right. Is that okay? Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry, I'm in transit.
Yes,
Go
we
ahead,
can
John.
hear you fine.
Okay, great. So Bookstock is restarting and taking place in on the green and in various venues around Woodstock, around the green on May 16th through 18th. The 16th from 1 o'clock, possibly 2 o'clock until 5, Saturday from 9 to 5, and Sunday from either 9 or 10 to 1 on the green. And then it continues for a few more hours at the Town Hall Theater. This year, we're trying to avoid, we need to have some food available, and we're trying to use local merchants and trying to avoid food trucks. And one great way for us to do that is to have the Montverde Mini on the green for the duration. Joe and Sam have very graciously agreed to do that if we can provide them with the proper electricity and water. Water isn't a problem, and electricity is a small problem that we're dealing with the select board with. We have to put a particular kind of outlet outside of the info shed, which we hope to be able to do. But we need the approval. So we are on the agenda for the select board meeting for that approval, which we hope to get in a couple of weeks. But we also need the approval of the trustees to bring, well, it's not exactly clear. We sent to you the relevant paragraph, which talks about motor vehicles and the restrictions on the green. I'm not sure if the Montverde Mini is a motor vehicle or not. You'll have to decide that, but the policy does allow for approval by the trustees or the town manager for a motor vehicle to be on the green. So we're asking for that approval. And yeah, and then Joe is here. Obviously, that's now the extent of my knowledge of the Montverde Mini. So if you have any questions, Joe can address them.
Joe, do you want to come up?
Sure.
Please. So my first question is, how will you get it on there? Did you hook it up to a truck and pull it up?
Scotty has the truck,
Oh,
that hooks it up.
okay.
We have it in storage now. He brought it down to storage, we'll take it out of storage. We can just drive it over to the green, level it, put down the stanchions, and then he drives off. And you don't see him again until we get it picked up again.
Okay. And so,
The vehicle won't be staying on.
okay,
The outlet, we can install it. I've spoken with Richard Johnson, who is the house electrician. He's a licensed electrician. He is particular point of being nauseated at times, drives you crazy, just like that. Just do it.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be okay. So he looked at it. He said there are 2 circuits there. But there's only 1 meter. Apparently, he said they were set up that way if there was an abnormal amount of required juice. If there was just 1 circuit, it might overload it at any point for any kind of festive thing. So they split it up into 2 boxes. We'll use one of them, and he'll install. It's called an RV 50 amp outlet, and he'll install that. I think Woodstock is paying for that, John, or what is it?
Well, we're gonna discuss, we have to discuss with the select board how to pay for it, but Montverde, you won't have, you won't have to pay. We're proposing to put it in for anyone's use, not just for Bookstock's use. So hopefully we'll be able to share the cost with, not with you, but with the town.
Well, whatever is required, you know, we'll get it and it'll be there permanently. If anybody in the future needs to use it for something else, it'll be there. What else can I say?
And
Are
so-
you gonna be on the east side or the west side
Which
of
side
the
of the-
chamber
That,
shed?
Whatever you want. I mean, what he looked at the box that's on the west side of
West
the
side.
building.
Yeah.
So it'll be somewhere around there.
but then you also need water access, which is on the other side, right?
Yeah, well, yes, but we have storage for water
Okay,
for a certain amount. You know, we required more water at the location on Central Street because we used it so much. You know, we were open at 10 o'clock, and we sometimes we did out until 6, and then we were using the water all the time, so we had to hook up. But there is a you know, 50-gallon tank that we can use if we need to, or we can hook up to the outlet if, you know, if there's a lot of traffic and we use it a lot, then we can hook up to that, but we do have storage for that and great water also on the trail.
okay.
And we'll be available for not only coffee. John originally asked us to go there and sell coffee and gold and stuff, pastries. But if we bring the trailer, we can have sandwiches available, charcuterie, all the stuff that we normally sell.
I'm gonna go back to the electrical.
That's not
Yeah,
us.
go ahead.
No, but,
That's the select board makes that decision.
no, but I have to go back because of the chamber. Do you pay, this is a question.
Oh,
That's a good
Do
question.
you pay for one of those outlets?
Yeah, they do, and I spoke with Beth this morning about it, and I said, monitor, you know, your bill. And if there's a spike anywhere, we'll pick up the difference.
So is there 1 meter for those 2
It's
outlets?
1
or-
meter, it's 1 meter.
Yes,
So that's my only question is, okay.
and will you set it up on Friday or Thursday?
so we set up.
The Friday's the
Well,
16th, right?
we're not gonna be on Central Street until the end of the month, so we can do either one, whatever's convenient from town.
Okay, I was just, so,
Yeah, good question.
yeah, just so that we know.
Go ahead, John. Well, probably.
No, I was gonna say, we have, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah.
So the setup, sorry, just, Seaton, we have the tents reserved. I have not asked them how many hours it takes. You know, this is the first time we're doing this. I haven't asked them how many hours it takes for the tents to be set up. I suspect we need Thursday. And I think when we applied for this, we asked to be able to start setting up on Thursday. We have 4 hours on Friday morning. So my view would, if that's correct, if what I just said is correct, then Joe, you could set up either on Thursday or Friday morning. It's up to you.
Okay, and then will it come off on Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay, how late does it go
Yeah,
on Sunday?
well, Bookstock doesn't end until 4, but Bookstock on the green ends at 1. And my understanding from the tents is that we'll have all the tents off on Sunday.
Okay,
I don't know what time Sunday, but I mean, it's not gonna be midnight. It sounds like we'll have them off by 5 or 6 o'clock on Sunday, so we won't be disturbing the community.
John, you talk about Pentangle serving lunch food on Saturday at the Pentangle Cafe. Assume that's the lobby of the town hall, when you say the Pentangle Cafe, is that right?
Yes, it is, and that's not the name. There's an asterisk next to cafe, and I believe the footnote was deleted, but I don't want Deborah to think that we've named it that. She's thinking of the name, but yes, it's in the lobby. And the third vendor would be the butcher. which we're not, Alex has indicated an interest, and we're talking to him about it, but it hasn't been confirmed. So ideally, we'll have Alex in a tent somewhere on the green. We'll have the mini, and then in the lobby of the theater, we'll have Pentangle, so people could get food at any of those three places.
Eric, I think I know the answer to this, but I can't remember. Has Chris from DPW, does he have any concerns about things being on the grass? I mean, it should be dry by then, so I would think that mud's not an issue.
Yeah, I mean, can't predict the weather, but I don't foresee an issue.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not always driving for it. Yeah.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for John or Joe?
No.
No.
And Frank? Okay, in that case, I would make a motion to allow the Montverde Mini to be on the green from May 16th through May 18th, along as part of Bookstock, and presumably the Bookstock COI covers everything there, right?
I'll make sure we have the COI now. I will make sure that it does. We promised to send you a copy of it. We have that policy is now in effect, but I'll make sure that it does cover this.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. It's exciting. Something good happening in May. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, John. Next is the permit for puppies and pooches. We have an updated permit, so exciting. So everybody knows, as I was going through the packet today, I realized that they had the old permit, which must be sitting somewhere, so we'll find out where that is. So this is for puppies and pooches. When is this? August 23rd. Gary, you want to tell us all about it?
Certainly. So my name is Gary Hornsman. I'm president of the Friends of the Norman Williams Public Library. And our annual fundraiser for the library, although it's Friends of the Library, is once a year, usually the last weekend in August. This year we pulled a little bit forward because of the holiday, the actual last weekend. So on August 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 12, we will do our 10 puppies and pooches on parade. It's basically an amateur dog show. And there's a little bit of a competition there. We have 5 categories. I don't know how much detail I should put into this. So we have precious petites. We have 90th midsize. We have gentle giants. We have fashionista, which is a female dog in costume. And then we have Beau Jess, which is a male dog in costume. So it is our major fundraiser. We can probably say we gross maybe 6.5 to 7, and maybe net 5 or so.
Nice.
So I'm asking for permission to have this event on the green on August 23rd.
Basically the same as the run of the past.
That was, it may be a little better, but anyway, thankfully it's that.
Now, you do say you're asking for free parking around the green.
That would be,
You're asking for it until noon, until 12?
yeah, just in the morning, yes.
Have we done that in the past?
Not that I'm aware.
Not that I'm aware of. I don't-
My understanding is that there's an event on the green, it's free parking around the green.
I think that's a thing that
It's not
had
a-
happened, but
it's
it
not
wasn't.
automatic.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah.
rule.
It was.
No.
No.
And I'll just make a comment. So with Chief Blish, I used to ask for that, and he would say, yes, there were no tickets.
Yeah, I actually don't have a problem with it. I just wanted to know the time period.
It was a decision by Chief Blish.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Not
it's more or less
not a
enforcement
village.
than anything else.
Yeah, I think that's what we ended up deciding, because we had this conversation maybe a year or two ago about market on the green. And what we decided was just not enforce it during a certain period. Like we don't turn off the kiosks, we don't turn anything off. So you can still pay for parking. We just, it's not
You're
enforced.
just not gonna get tickets.
We are not in a great budget situation, so I'm not in favor of that, but I'm certainly happy to have the conversation. I mean, part of the conversations that we're having later today is looking at fees and either creating them or increasing them, because the village does not have a lot of money. So I mean, I'm happy to have the conversation about that if somebody wants to
Hmm.
argue the other way.
Well, my argument is that it's only for 2 hours because meters don't start till 10.
Okay, that's true.
And then it's just 2 hours and it's once a year. And I think that's the kind of exception, although I totally agree with you. We need to find ways to raise money. This is not necessarily one that would produce much difference.
And I can also encourage people. It's easy enough to do these days.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you have people, much like for other events, if people need to like load and unload big dogs, or if there's that sort of thing, I think I'm always happy to do it for vendors or people that have big things. But just in general, I mean, there are places nearby to park that are free. So I don't know, what do you?
I don't, you and I go back and forth on this.
Yeah.
I don't want to give one person
Yeah.
something and not another person something. So if you can encourage them to pay, that would be the best. Because I don't think we should put up free parking or any of those
No.
things. But encouraging them to pay would be helpful for us. And a lot of it is the wear and tear on the green that comes
I'd
with
be
the
happy.
puppies and yeah, you know, so,
And again, I'm not asking for signs that say free parking. I
yeah.
think the way Chief Bishop handled it was,
That was a decision by the chief and not the trustees.
Frank, I want to make sure that we get your opinions on this as well.
Go ahead, Frank.
Throw him under the bus.
Frank, you're
Oh,
muted.
Frank, you're muted.
I don't have any questions a second.
How's your opinion on allowing free parking during puppies and pooches? Oh,
I,
Frank, can you hear us?
yeah. I'm thinking about it still.
Okay, Brenda, while Frank's thinking.
There's other ways that we could handle this. We could also go up on the fee for the permit, and that could include parking for 2 hours. So instead of the permit being $50, we could maybe make it $100, and there could be free parking for those 2 hours.
I like,
Any other opinion?
yeah. Or possibly we can have even like people make just donations. You know, sometimes where like you go ahead and pay what you think, pay what you can.
For the parking?
Yeah, for the parking.
I'm gonna keep going.
I just urge us to not enforce it for 2 hours and not advertise that there's free parking.
Yeah. Okay.
Eric? Any thoughts?
I mean, this is a decision for the trustees on what you guys want to do. You know, I think to Lisa and Team Point, you don't want to create a precedent of doing this for every event. If you were going to do it, I would recommend Jeffrey's approach of just not enforcing it, but not advertising for it. You're also going to create probably everyone who comes forward is going to ask for the same thing. So.
Yeah, and that's always my concern is why is it one thing and not the other?
Yeah. We
How
financially
many
can't
large
continue
events
this.
are there?
I mean,
A lot.
That we aren't aware of that are already that we don't have. We already have a policy with the market on the green. What else
I mean, does that mean that Pride doesn't have to pay for parking?
on the green?
Yeah, should I
For
maybe,
2 hours?
I mean, my event's
Yeah.
longer than that, but I mean, that's the question though, like,
To me, the shortness of the time was part of why I thought it was okay. But
We have to, I mean, I think the best thing we can do is not advertise and not enforce.
okay, good.
okay, and so you're comfortable doing that with future,
Right, but with, like, for example, Market on the Green, they can't have free parking. Nobody has free parking, whatever they put over
Well, that's for vendors to,
Right, no, there's, the whole green is marked, so.
no, the whole grant, okay. It's just for the vendors, they. Bag thing.
This
just
already
didn't know.
sounds complicated. We shouldn't be making any
Yeah.
Yeah.
any reasonable reasons why it should be allowed. We should nip it in the butt now.
What is Frank? What did, I missed what half what he said.
Then don't make any questions.
We have a question from the.
And we've got one, I want to get Wendy just because she raised her hand.
Okay.
Wendy, go ahead. Wendy, did you have a comment?
Sorry, button pushing. Thank you, Seaton. I did want to just weigh in from the outsider, parking person's perspective. I think keep it simple. Don't make exceptions. Just because you create gray and then again precedent and then confusion. So if you come to the green for Market on the Green, if you come to the green for Bookstock, you come to the green for Pride. I mean, we have a lot of events on the green. I don't think you can argue why one should get free parking. That's
Thank
my
you.
opinion. Stick with the rules. Parking is parking.
Can you come up here? Need your name and the rules where you're paid.
Others,
Hi, Todd.
there's parking spaces, and it's 2 hours. How much money would that be? They wanted to prepay it. Let them prepay it, you get your money, and you have.
Yeah, we'd have to find out how much that, I mean, if it's,
I'm just trying to think around the green, you're probably talking 20 spots on both sides, so 40, 10, 60.
50, 75.
So $120, $50, probably a little,
yeah.
So what was the amount?
I'm guessing we're estimating like $120 to $180, probably overall.
For 2 hours.
2 hours, if every spot was full, paying a
And they
dollar.
will be, I would say.
Yeah,
And whoever parks there, they shouldn't be able to dictate who can park there.
yeah,
But you got free parking for anybody who wants. You get what you want, you get what you want.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
yeah.
You get prepaid. Everybody you want.
That way you could actually advertise it.
Well, and the other question is, we'd have to, I would want to talk to Chris about like, can you turn off? Can they change that for that period of time? Because if somebody prepays, then I don't want people to be paying, right? I mean, I guess you can always put a sign on the thing that says,
I mean, it was probably re-signed, yeah.
but
It's a big cost. for him
It's
to-
just, you just don't enforce it.
no, but people would still be paying. And if people are paying, like the whole point is if there's prepay, I certainly don't want,
You'd have to say free
yeah,
parking.
because that would just be rude of us to make.
Yeah,
people
yeah,
pay.
no, yeah, that's true.
You could do a sign, but if you're somebody like me that uses Park Mobile and doesn't go anywhere near a kiosk, I would pay for it without knowing it.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna like, I don't wanna charge people twice, that's just rude.
Yeah, so you probably talking about two options, either promoting it as free parking when you know the best you can, or not enforcing it and people who don't pay. You know,
Yeah, can you come up, Joe?
Yeah. I think it's, I remember.
and Joe, can you say your name for the record? You should say your name
Oh,
for
yeah.
the record.
Joe D'Itali. I remember, when, Beth was alluding to it, I think there was an ordinance passed that if there's an event on the green, the parking street all the way around. That having been said, I'll share with you an experience I had some years ago. I was at an event, I don't remember which one it was, on the green. And as I was walking towards the fence, there was a guy mumbling, and I asked him about, what's up? And this is before we had the voucher thing and all that. And he said, this is how the town walks to me, you come to this event, they give me a ticket for not putting enough money to meet it. And I said, I don't know what to say. But that's an event that happened with me, and I'm wondering if it's a welcoming thing for people to come to an event like Woodstock or anything else, and they have to plug in money into the meter or pay somewhere or another. if that's a good PR thing for the town. Just a thought.
Wouldn't mind telling the story as well.
Sure.
Got a chance. So I rented a car in Germany. I went into Denmark. I parked and overextended my parking permit. And I got a very, very nice note on my windshield that said, "Thank you very much for coming and visiting our lovely city, and we hope you had a nice time." It was on a ticket. It made me feel really good. So I can understand as well that, you know, someone coming to an event, feel good about coming to the event, and they end up getting a ticket. And I know we're not really talking about that, but I think we should be as welcoming as we possibly can. That said, I heard someone say, and I don't know the numbers, I didn't understand exactly what the hourly rate is, but what if the application fee was $100? I don't want to muddy the water there and make your fee go up or make your fee go up, but I think it's perfectly okay if those Pooches to actually get free parking. I know, say free parking, but the application fee is like $50 is $100.
I mean, I think that's something that I'm happy to talk about that, and making it an option.
Yeah.
I would want to, before we made any decisions, I'd want to find out from Chris, I would want to look at parking things, because if it's 2 hours, that shouldn't be the same cost as 6 hours.
I understand. And that's why it does set a precedent.
Yeah,
And that's it.
yeah, but I mean, I'm happy to have that conversation. Would you be, I think we need more data before I need more data before making that decision. But if that's something that you all are willing to entertain, that it's costs more so that Puppies and Pooches is essentially paying for the parking.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Again, it sets a precedent that my.
Yeah, but it's not a bad idea. I mean, I think it's worth talking about. I would definitely, I mean, what we could do is, I mean, we can certainly consider the rest of your application and make the decision, which is fine. But we could, between now and next month, get all that data and then have and I also want the community to be part of that conversation. That's a big change. But if we can get that data between now and our next meeting, and then whatever decision we make,
Get in touch with me.
yeah, then we can just get in touch with you. That's
Okay with
awesome.
me.
Thank you. I really appreciate that suggestion.
Yeah.
Well, then let's leave that part off for now. Do you all have questions for Gary about Puppies and Pooches outside of the parking?
Nope.
Okay. In that case, I would make a motion to approve the permit with taking off the free parking part. Is there a second?
Good.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Gary. We'll get back to
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
And thank you for redoing the application. Eric, can I give you, this is the updated application, can you give that to Kitty, please? And it already, I mean, there's a, see you.
Did this date get changed?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. So next is all of the Chamber of Commerce permits, so
Come on up, Beth.
come on up. So the first permit I've got in my packet is the sidewalk sale in May, and I believe there's been a date change.
There was a request for a date. change.
Okay.
That's the reason. And I have another, amend. Also.
Sure. For the
This
Tuesday
is-
application or a different one?
I have a question.
Okay.
So I did all of these and
Yeah.
it came to my mind that you're now asking for permits for banners. Is that correct?
We've always asked for permits for banners. Yeah, I mean, we have a banner permit.
But 2 years ago, you didn't have a banner.
Yeah. I believe we
Anyway,
do.
I'm not.
Yeah.
My question is Green Up Day,
Yeah,
which is free pickup trash for Rotary.
Yeah.
And I did not apply for a banner.
you mean the banner on the green?
We have banners that say Green Up Day, meet town hall.
Yeah. Like on either end of the park? Okay, yeah, there's a,
On the
Permit.
28th, but do I have to pay for that?
it's a $50 permit application, yeah,
To pick up trash?
for the
For
banner,
Woodstock.
for the,
Advertise to pick up trash. No one's making money, people are going out and getting very dirty. and picking up stuff out of the river.
Yes.
It seems very wrong to me.
Well, then you don't have to apply for the banner. You don't want to.
But you want people to go pick up trash, don't you? I mean, as a community, don't we want Woodstock to participate in a statewide green up day? That the state provides the bags for? It's beyond me. It's penny wise, pound foolish, or whatever. For that specific one, I mean, if you want.
You are welcome to ask for an exception to anything.
Then I would like to very nicely ask. them.
And then we'll talk about
For the river.
precedent.
But
for
first
that
of all, it is sidewalks.
What's the
And I
weekend?
have paid all of my fees and provided certificate of insurance.
I think Kitty has it, it's not it.
Yes.
Kitty, do you have that?
I did. I got it and I gave it to Eric in the pile of papers
Right.
that I handed to him this afternoon. So I do have it and that's all set.
That's Eric's fault.
But there's a change of date.
The date purchase requested, the group of Americans have requested that the date be changed to the Woodstock date
Okay.
of the 16th and 17th of May for the first sidewalk sale. In the hopes they would like to participate with books
Is that,
Saturday from 9 AM until 6 PM. They look forward to working with the Bookstock folks to, to create a windows, decorations, etc. To partner with Bookstock, but they also would rather not have the sidewalk sale on Memorial Day weekend.
okay. Yeah, we can make that change on the.
And then if they talk to,
Yes,
looks like about it. already.
no,
I actually talked to John and he said he'd
and I
be happy to
did
have it.
too,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
you did too, and
that's great.
Yeah, they're not using the sidewalk or anything, so he said they'd be happy to have it as an addition to Bookstop.
Okay.
And I'm also asking for sidewalks for the merchants with the under the chamber guys. Is asking for a sidewalk sale on August 15th and 16th.
Is that a different time? than we
No.
had?
That is the same,
That's-
Again,
the weekend after the taste of first.
Okay, other than that, there's no changes from how it's always been.
No,
Okay.
and,
I do have a question.
oh, go ahead, please.
These are only for members of the chamber,
no, well, yes,
right?
But-
But if someone's not a member of the chamber, can they
There's-
put something out or?
that's your decision.
No, they'd have to
But-
make their own
They
sidewalk.
would have to make their own permit or
Okay.
application.
But I would say everyone is a member, except the new home store at the moment. But that has no.
Will they be open by then?
Months, I think.
Okay. Okay, so it's only chamber members, your CIY,
Well,
first that,
That was the discussion we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
last year. It had never come up in the past, but last year it was changing.
and, last year, we also talked about, you asked for an exception, and I just want to see if you wanted it again. An exception from the,
Yes.
corridor of being at least 5 feet and objects not being up against the building. Okay, so so we need to do 2 votes then. We need to vote on each one and then vote on the exception for each one. So that the COI will cover that as well. Frank and Brenda, do you have any questions about, either one of the sidewalk sales, so May 16th and 17th or August 15th and 16th?
I have one question.
Please.
Do I talk about this exception?
You
Now,
can.
who's gonna be policing that exception? Because
Each
last
store,
year it didn't go.
Well, there is, no, the exception is that they don't have to, it's an exception from Title VII, so they don't have to have a 5-foot corridor, that they don't have to have it.
I'm talking pedestrians, the road, the sidewalks were blocked.
Yeah, so that's what the
They-
exception was.
Yeah, they
they
were.
were very aware of, and.
I worked at Danforth and
I know,
Susie, sorry, but Woody's completely blocked and pedestrians could not get through. And it was on the other side too. So I just want to make sure that you repeat and to self-police.
Well, so what is the policing you're asking? Because they have. an
Store,
exception.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to have this stuff there, but they had so many customers that people couldn't go past them on the sidewalk.
Okay.
So they'd have to go out into a parking space or say, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. So there has to be a way for them to understand that you can't. I saw a lady with a stroller who could.
So are you proposing some sort of a clearance? Because right now, if we vote on this, then it's an exception fee,
There should be clearance for a wheelchair. or a
Okay.
stroller.
Right,
which would be like a
That's
3 feet.
where if
But
someone
it's
came
not-
by with a wheelchair, people's common sense would move, and the Woody's staff,
I'm not,
so polite, would ask them to move.
I'm not singling out Woody's at all. That's not my intent.
37 Central.
Yeah.
The bookstore.
It's more that, and I am fine with that, and want it on the record that they
Okay,
need to be very conscious that there is street traffic.
okay, so
sidewalk
then.
traffic.
the-
I'm
so-
fine with that.
Okay, so the exception, would you be comfortable with the exception going from 5 feet to 3 feet?
Yes.
So there needs to be 3 feet of clearance at all times.
Well, if someone's looking at something.
Yeah, no, it's
how
talking
can
about
they
things,
ask-
no, it's talking about things on the sidewalk.
Right.
Yeah.
That to me is fine, but if there's 3 feet of clearance and I wanna stop and look at a vase right here.
Yeah.
There's now 2 feet of clearance because of me being there.
Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, that's not in our, the ordinance is not about people standing on the sidewalk, unless it's blocking. But that's not something that the stores would be concerned about. I think the concern is, number one, there's 3 feet, so there is no,
Right, stuff.
yeah, there's no stuff, there's no tent, there's no whatever,
Right.
3 feet. With this exception, it also means that you can have things up to the sidewalk. I would ask if you're gonna have things that go up to the edge of the sidewalk that people can get in and out of their cars,
Yes,
which I think people have been pretty conscious of the
yes, they have.
last year. So I think it's that 3 foot thing, and then,
But it's more crowd control and
Yeah.
stores taking responsibility, because some stores you see 10, 12 people all there and they're blocking the sidewalk. So people who want to get through actually have to go around and park cars. So, I mean,
Say, excuse me.
when you
Well-
have 7 or 8 people back in a row, that doesn't work. It's excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. So I'm just saying there needs to be a conscious effort to pay attention
no,
to
I
that.
think that's something.
Yeah.
And we'll have, I mean, and the police will walk by and just do their normal.
Yeah.
Policing. So the exception is gonna be 5 feet to 3 feet. And that, objects don't have to be up against the building. Objects can be wherever on the sidewalk, but there has to be 3
But
feet
there has to
of
be
clearance.
3 feet between items
Okay,
of displays.
objects,
Yes.
any object, so even if it's a parking meter, right, that's like in the way, then I move stuff out of the way.
The only thing that I can think of is the trash can up by M&T Bank, but.
And there's the trees.
Yeah.
The trees
fewer and
can't,
fewer trees.
yeah.
Okay, so are there any other questions about this first application? We're not talking about the exception yet. May 16th and 17th sidewalk sale.
Wendy has her hand up on that.
Oh, yeah, please go ahead, Wendy.
It's about the exception though, so I can wait,
Okay, well, let's do this.
unless you want me to comment. Okay.
Let's do this and then we'll jump over that. Thank you, Wendy. So I would make a motion to approve the sidewalk sale request for May 16th and 17th. Is there a second?
Second.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Wendy, you had a comment about the exception we were discussing? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Seton. I shopped last August, the sidewalk sales, but I only made it to one store because of the congestion. My question / suggestion is with the 3 feet rule, even though there are trees and trash cans, can the display only be against the building? I think the problem that was created was the 3 feet rule was applied in the center and there were displays on both sides of the sidewalk. So shoppers are in the middle looking at both sides, and that makes it complicated to go through, whereby if you had all your display to the one side, it's a little more fluid. Does that make sense what I just said?
would make
I mean,
sense.
if you're gonna do the exception to 3 feet, that's fine, but can you say, displays are all up against the building?
Well, that's the current ordinance says that displays have to be up against the building, so we were gonna provide an exception for that. But we can.
Well,
invite-
that's what I'm saying, the congestion really came out of every store had their own little tent and stuff was on both sides of the sidewalk, so you're not able to go through.
But there was 3 feet.
Yeah, but it's 3 feet of shoppers. Like back to your point of the congestion, it was difficult to wend your way through. Mind you, be in a wheelchair or with a stroller. So I was just thinking if it's one-sided, if your display is, I know it's a festive time and you make exceptions, but that's just my one observation or suggestion.
I think we go with the exception, just twice a year, 2 days each time.
So the exception of 3 feet and things don't have to be up against the wall.
Correct.
Frank and Brenda, what are your thoughts on that? Are you in favor of one exception, both exceptions, neither exception?
I agree with Jeffrey.
Frank,
Same.
Lisa? Well, I think we know how Lisa feels.
Yeah, we know how this feels.
So I would make a motion to allow an exception for the sidewalk sale, May 16th and 17th, from Title 7, Chapter 4, Section 7407A. To the part about having to have a 5-foot corridor, it'll be reduced to 3 feet. And objects do not have to be just up against the building. They can be anywhere on the sidewalk as long as there is a continuous 3-foot corridor along the sidewalk. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Say aye.
Aye.
Any? 4-1. Next one is the sidewalk sale in August 15 and 16. Is there, I think we've already had the conversation about it. Is there anything different? It's the same thing.
No, we're asking for the same thing, the exception.
Okay. Are there any questions about the permit outside of the exception? Comments? No? Okay. Then I would make a motion to approve the sidewalk sale for August 15th and 16th, from 7 to 8. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Any opposed?
I oppose.
The next one is an exception for the sidewalk sale on August 15th and 16th. For Title 7, Chapter 4, Section 7407A, corridor has to be at least 3 feet instead of 5, and that objects do not have to be just up against the building. They can be anywhere on the sidewalk as long as there is a 3-foot wide continuous corridor. Is there a second?
Second.
All aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Nay, I
Okay,
oppose.
there you go. Okay, 4-1. Motion carries. Okay, next item,
First time I've ever done
right, is Taste of Woodstock. You know, tell us about Taste of Woodstock, please.
We are asking for find it.
Sorry, Brenda, are we boring you?
Sorry. Hardly boring.
What's the temperature there?
80 plus.
Oh, she was asking.
Florida.
No, here though.
Here was 64 today,
64.
Brenda.
I heard that. It's amazing. I'm so happy.
She doesn't care. She's in Florida.
I do care. I do care.
Woodstock, which would be August 9th, 2025, we would like to close Elm Street from the Congregational Church to Central Street at 7 a.m., reopen it at 7 p.m. With foods and music and
You said booths and not booze, right?
food.
That too.
P-O-O-T-H.
And there is, but
Yeah,
there is.
there is
there's food.
Yeah, but I mean, it just came, I was like, what? What's
Will be.
There's no changes,
No, no, okay.
no changes.
I have two questions for you. One, and I don't recall from previous years. Y'all don't set up anything on the sidewalks, right? It's just
No.
people on the sidewalks. Okay.
No, and we keep one path on Elm Street free so that you
Oh, that's
on
right.
the east side of Elm Street generally. So if someone had to get
An
the
ambulance or
ambulance
whatever.
down, you could do that. Yes.
And then my next question is, because we just
You
talked,
have to move people,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not things.
Easier sometimes. And then my next question is, again, in sort of light of what happened in New Orleans and the conversation we we're having about, what's that?
Have not thought of it.
I mean, and this is you don't necessarily, you have a longer thing than Pride does, so it's different, but, I might suggest talking to the police
Oh,
about
I definitely will.
putting cruisers up as opposed to, I mean, Lord knows people just blast
Can't
past.
afford cruisers.
You can't afford cruisers?
I mean, if we're gonna have to pay the police to be there, that is not something that would be in the Taste of Woodstock budget.
Right.
This is not a
They could
money
put
making.
they could put barricades.
Well, the people move the barricades, that's my concern, but you could put your own personal cars there, like you could have volunteers that just put their cars across.
As long as it's okay with Chris.
I mean, yeah, I've talked to Chris about it, but if you are, I mean, if you have a permit for the space to begin with, I assume you are welcome to put your cars like this across the road. As long as they can be moved out of the way for emergency vehicles. But you usually have, isn't there a cruiser on the other end, on the Central Street end?
No, no, never has been.
No,
Well, I talked to, yeah. That could be just a conversation with the police about other ways that could be done.
I don't want to over worry.
Yeah, but I don't want the pedestrians to get hit.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
I mean, that's what they said anyway. So,
it's different.
Not New Orleans.
Not if it's when Jeffrey,
Yeah.
where.
I will talk, I mean,
Talk with Chris.
my permit says that I will talk with Chris, I will talk with him about
okay,
this.
see what he
Sure.
thinks. I would,
I will.
I defer to the police on safety matters. Okay, so set up 7 AM to 7 PM. And that's it. Trustees, do you have any questions for Ben?
No.
Frank? No?
Just get back to us about what Chris said and.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that formally.
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept the permit for Taste of Woodstock, August 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Yep.
Next one, keep going.
Everyone.
Big ones. Wassail Parade.
Wassel,
Yeah,
not just the parade.
yeah. Well, the first one I have in my package is the parade.
So the parade, where we can find the date, is the 13th of December, no,
Yes, yes.
13th of December. That's the 12th, 13th, and 14th is Wassel weekend. And we are asking for the same, although there will be some caveats based on last year's issues following the parade. So the parade itself will go from the east end up Pleasant Street to Elm Street, around the green once, and back down Central Street. We have one, we'll meet with, we met on Monday, but we will meet with the business owners of the mill building to ensure that that is okay.
No horse poop.
We will, also talk with, Chris and I have discussed this, but what will scare me more than, this is the only thing that I ever think of is, because of the amount of people. And I have spoken to Chris, about the possibility of having the barricades and then ropes between the barricades to give a visual that people need to stand behind.
Yeah.
Because everyone just
Throngs.
It's like 5-year-olds playing soccer. They all just go to the ball.
Yeah,
And they just think that this is a cute little town and there's no traffic and the horses are just cute and not big beasts. So we're talking about that now and we've spoken about it already.
Okay.
With that in mind,
is the, and this,
and keeping people off the dummy. One thing that Chris and I talked about was,
spikes,
what?
spikes.
Yeah, keeping people, I don't know how we would do it, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's possible, but, you know, because that's kind of the, you know, one of the gathering places. And, if we could keep people on both sides of the street, they're gonna still see a wonderful parade,
Yeah,
so
no, I'm in
the
favor of that.
logistics are.
One of my questions, is just in line with those same safety concerns, is why are the cars parked? Why do we park cars
That's
differently?
a police question.
Okay,
I don't really know. There are people, they do reserve some for handicapped people.
Yeah.
So they can sit and see the parade
okay,
and you can park more. Think
Yeah.
about it, you can park
Yeah.
more than, you
Right.
know,
I just noticed people
like
like,
Elm Street.
people, one, tailgating, which is kind of cool, but like, it,
Yeah.
people were just darting in and out of those cars and you couldn't see them presumably from the parade because there's so much car. So, I mean, I'm happy to have that conversation with the police too, because that makes me,
Yeah, I think, and if
Really
maybe we
nervous.
should invite you to, you know, we have meetings with the chief and would be happy to have you come too, so that we can,
well,
you can hear it all.
Yeah.
You know, and report back because, you know, safety is a big issue.
Yes.
That day specifically.
and horses cannot be,
They're wonderful.
yeah, but like,
but
somebody's
they
not
are
proud of them.
beasts. 2,000 pounds worth.
So the ultimate question is the amount of police work that is being done is extensive. And you know, we are looking at being compensated for it. I talked to you about that at the chamber group, subgroup meeting you had. We can't afford to give away free police anymore.
Well, but I think this is a conversation we're gonna have in depth later,
Right, but I would just want Beth to know.
Yeah.
that, you know, it's part of the discussion.
but we're also
and
not gonna have.
I get you.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions or comments,
No.
Frank? Citizens? No. Okay, then I would make a motion to approve the Wassail Parade permit for December 13th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Did I do a banner with that one?
Yes, you did. It's at the back.
Okay. I did one for the art festival. I just want to make sure I did one.
Okay.
No, I sent it.
So now we're doing Wassail use of green.
Yes. And we would like to do the same as we have had, although we had a discussion yesterday about whether it's possible to close off the green so that you could consume alcohol outside, you know, the space of the table that we have there. And so right now, we're looking at doing the exact same thing, which is having the wassail bar with the containment, the license check, et cetera. But Billings Farm, Nori mentioned yesterday that they are now allowed to not have to have it in quite such a confined space that they can walk on the grounds of Billings Farm as opposed to in the contained area. So we're looking into that. I certainly would come back and ask for that, if there are any changes made.
Yeah, and I think that's a Chris question. That might
That's
even be a David question.
Oh, it's Chris David and the.
Okay.
And the
Department of
state, yeah,
Eight, whatever.
yeah, because the state is the
Alcohol.
one that,
Yeah.
they go by the state, whatever the
Yeah,
state.
I mean, everybody that works at the bar is licensed by the state.
Yeah, the conversations I've had in the past is it's just getting people in and out.
Children not being in an area where only alcohol.
Well, you can have
count
children.
them as long as you don't serve them.
Yeah,
But it's a whole.
and it's a, when do you check the IDs? And I mean, if you figure it out,
Yeah.
bless your heart, because I would love to be able to do that. I think
I
that'd
know.
be great.
And
Other than that, there's no changes they're
Nope.
proposing. Okay.
But it looks like so fire truck on the green, yes or no? Looks like you wanted to do fire stuff on the gore?
Gore, well, last year they wanted to, so I applied to the board just in case
Okay,
they would like to. For that to be,
okay,
just in case.
okay, so but
So right now, we would ask for the green and the gore.
so those are two separate things. It's just, on your green one, it says fire truck,
Says maybe.
maybe fire
Maybe.
truck.
If you don't allow the gore, or if they don't want to be on the gore.
Oh, okay,
Then we will not. This is kind of, you're doing it in January, just right after.
yeah,
And you have all those cars that are parked there.
You do.
Part of the gore.
You do, but sometimes it would be nice to have that little extra space where you could do something, even if it was. Last year we had a chorus on the library steps, you know.
yeah.
It'd be nice to have stadium seating.
Are you paying for
You
it?
can rent that.
You can do
With money,
anything.
you can do anything.
It's true, yes.
Just asking, Mom.
Girl, 5 cents. Anyway, okay, are there any questions about the use of the green? So we're not including fire truck in this quite yet.
On the green?
Yes,
It-
it's a maybe at this point.
It's a maybe.
Okay.
Now, this year, I forget why, but they parked on the side of the green. They
Yes.
did not park on the green.
And the
Yeah.
green has to be frozen.
Yes, it does.
And we don't, I mean, we certainly
And there
don't,
was snow.
yeah.
I mean, we had to
Oh,
shovel.
that's right. That was part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would just want to consider this like, until there's a better sense of the fire truck.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I know that's not a you thing, I know that's a something else thing,
I'm just trying to
I know. So, you don't have-
support my department.
All chamber,
Motion on this.
okay. So I would make a motion to approve the use of the green without the fire truck?
Could you put a caveat that if the ground is frozen, the fire truck can go on?
Okay, so let's just, so we're
If
voting
they
on
want
it
it.
with, okay,
But only if the day before, if we know that there's not snow and the ground is frozen.
okay. All the caveats, got it. Everybody okay with that? Yep. Trustees in other places?
Yep.
Okay, then I would make a motion to approve the use of green for the December 12th and 13th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, then the next.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Next is your banner.
oh, good. Or walks the weekend.
Yes. And this is all assuming, Katie, I assume you've looked, there's no other banners up that period of time, 18th through the 15th, or the 8th through the 15th?
This one is very generic. It's just let's watch the weekend.
Okay, yeah, my only concern is that there's not anything else that weekend. I don't think.
Well,
that
there
there-
probably is. There's Pentangle, there's.
Well, you can just make the
And-
motion provided no other banners than
Okay,
previously.
that's
been.
true. Yeah, no, it's first come, first served. So, okay, so I would make, a motion to approve the Wassail banner December 8th through the 15th, assuming that there is no other banner that is being used that week
For the previous.
previously. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 One thing, and I keep saying this to people and no one's listening to me. Think about how it looks from a car. More words, less graphics.
Oh, definitely. Well,
Yeah.
ours just says watch the weekend.
Oh,
this
okay, well, then you're
weekend.
fine. Rock
I
on.
totally agree.
Okay. Next is wassail use of the gore. Is this just for the fire
That's
department?
just for the fire department. Or maybe we'd wanna put face painting and kids' activities
Okay,
there.
But it's nonprofit.
Yes,
okay.
And when
It'll
you
be
say
all-
sale of items, you mean food for the fire
Yeah.
department? Yeah,
yes,
food items.
yes.
A question, and we can change this later, but if it's just the fire department, they can apply for their own thing.
I just wanted it covered because
Okay.
they didn't do it in time last year.
Okay,
And so I figured I was coming, and I,
no, that's good.
we would be, play well with others. And they're a great partner.
Yes, they make good food. Okay, so it would be food of some sort on the board, but not a fire truck. On the board.
That's, so I'll,
Yeah, I
from
don't
now on, it will be the fire department that talks to you. I'll let them
Okay.
know that we have a permit.
Okay.
Do you not want a fire truck on the
I
board?
don't think I
I
do.
don't think so.
No,
Really?
No, fun.
no,
Why?
And I don't think they won't be there either. I think last year they.
no, they didn't
They
wanna.
decided not to.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting into, since it's in front of somebody's house, it's just a different animal, in my mind. But if they decide to do that, it can be their COI, which is the town's COI, so that's one less COI you would have to have. It would save you money. I'll give it to come talk
No,
to
I
me.
paid for it already.
Okay,
Okay,
I mean, the
for
program.
well, for the gourd, so you have a separate COI for the gourd?
We have the COI for the event for the town of Woodstock that names you for every event.
Okay, so it's for the, okay. That all works.
Say that, walk that again.
As the COI would cover the parade, does it have to be spelled out or is that okay? If we have their COI and it's covering the parade and the gore and the,
It's on the same days, right?
Yeah.
And it's for the chamber. As long as there's enough liability insurance on there, yeah.
okay,
We did what you asked for.
yeah. Well, I've just never looked at one that was like for multiple events, but if it's all on the same day and it covers this all the days, that's
Yeah,
fine.
you-
One event.
Yeah, but it's 3
I can give The
days,
insurance, it's one event.
yeah,
It's Wassel.
yeah, okay, but as
So-
long as it's different locations, different days, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, just
so
double
did
checking.
we vote on that one?
The one thing that wasn't on here was, and again, maybe this is something that you want to kick over to the fire department, is there's no trash plan. If they're gonna be selling food, we need extra trash cans.
We need extra trash cans anyway for that day. And it doesn't matter if it's the fire department, if it's things coming from the village butcher, Monbear Cafe. People walk around town with.
Okay,
Lots.
did we just vote on this one yet? No, we didn't. Okay, I would make a motion, even, Earl, make a motion to approve the use of the gore for December 13th. Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next one, is this supposed to be for Market on the Green?
Yeah, it just didn't say what it says.
Yeah.
Okay, because it says Art Fest. I was like, you're having Art Fest every
No, I have
Wednesday?
an art fest too.
Yeah, that's separate. This is.
But this
market
one
on the
says
green.
it says Art Fest and it's like June 4th, it says June 4th through October 15th.
That's market on the.
Okay,
Green.
that's what I thought.
It says art fest?
Yeah.
It says Art Fest on the Green at the top of ours. Maybe someone else wrote that. Please write that.
I did not like that.
Okay.
Right, it's market on the green.
Oh,
I was gonna say, you found that many artists?
I was like, yeah, right? Ow. Okay, so this is Market on the Green.
Anything different?
No.
Nothing different
For the
Um,
market on the green,
for market on the green.
nothing different. Yes, there was one thing we're going to request.
What?
If we can put cones out from 1 to 3 in the 10 spaces right now where we put the things for the vendors to be able to park, drop and leave.
Okay, are people not, they're not noticing that?
Oh, they're not, it's horrible.
You can't see. I got that.
You can't see the thing with the
So you're
bags.
like at all the entrances?
No, it would be the 10 parking spaces. Two up to
Around
the,
the gates.
That's what I meant, the
on
gates,
the
yeah.
north and south. And yes.
Yeah, no, I think that's,
Yeah, I think that's very
I just
reasonable.
talked to Chris about it. Cause I mean, they had the
We
comments,
will.
yeah, and he can put
And
that
we'll
out.
make signs that say vendor parking only, and the vendors are gonna be responsible for putting them out. We'll put them out, they'll pick them up. You know, so that once they move their cars, that it's parking. Yeah.
When would you put them up?
Oh, yeah.
Probably 1 o'clock.
Okay,
And will there be,
One, somewhere in that's, because John, you know, Deep Meadows Farm, he's there by between 12:30 and 1:30.
and you'll have somebody that can move the cones out of their way?
The only
He said that they
issue,
would get out, move the cones,
Park,
park.
move their car, put the
Yes.
cone back.
the
Yeah.
only issue you may have is if the court is in session
I
and
know.
they're doing jury trial, they're gonna be there at 8 in the morning, so
No,
just so you know, they've taken the whole.
there's nothing we can.
There's nothing
That's
to
your
do about that, right?
Yeah, so just, you know,
Completely block it off all day long.
Yeah,
they take it all.
Yeah.
So just,
okay.
maybe you can
Well,
find out.
on days like that, I mean, I think it might make sense to have a
I think
contingency
it's
plan.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay,
One never
Days.
knows though, yeah.
yeah,
That's what Chris had told me.
okay.
But
I might talk to Chris about a contingency plan, just in case, for some reason, there's something that happens on a Wednesday. Your vendors are still gonna need to like park their cars at like, they can't haul that stuff, so I would talk to him about like, what happens if that. Something happens.
If they show up at 8, and they can be there all
Well,
day.
yeah, you can't just be, like towing people, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess you could, but,
You better they're watching letters at 8 in the morning.
Okay. So this is June 4th through October 15th, every Wednesday, 1 PM to 7.
So it's been 7 p.m.? Was it 6
Well,
p.m.?
The
It
cleanup.
goes to 6, but they have to clean up.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
Trustees, are there any questions or concerns about this?
No,
No comments?
I guess, how many vendors do you think you'll have this year?
Right now, we have 23,
Great.
but the goal is 35. So I don't know that, right
It's
now,
early.
that does not include the Woodstock Community Trust and the fire department are gonna rotate.
But the nonprofit space.
Informational.
Great, I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, so, make a motion to approve the Market on the Green permit for Chamber of Commerce, June 4th through October 15th, every Wednesday, 1 to 7. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, this one's market.
Oh,
She's backwards.
oh,
Okay,
well, we'll have to flog her then.
yeah, I know. We need to fire her.
Totally, yes.
Do not do that.
We know better.
Yeah.
Good job.
She is. Okay, so the next thing I have is the Art Fest banner.
I don't think that you have a request yet, Kitty said, but you may, but if you don't, it would be September 2nd, which is the,
Oh, no, I got it. Yep, the banner request?
right,
Yeah.
right, but.
The first come, first served.
Come first served.
Oh, yeah, if there was anybody else.
Right.
Right.
Do we get a refund if there's somebody else already?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Absolutely not.
yes.
So the request is for September 2nd, which is the Tuesday, because Labor Day is Monday.
Okay.
First,
Okay.
oh, don't talk, so it's Tuesday through the following Monday morning when they take it down.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Trustees, you have any questions?
No.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the banner on the green for September 2nd through the 8th for Art Fest. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries for that one. Next one is not Art on the Green, but Art Fest. For, what day is this?
September 6th and 7th.
September 6th and 7th, 10 AM to 6 PM. Can you tell us about how many vendors you think you're gonna have this year?
You know, our goal is 30 to 40 vendors with music, live music, both Saturday and Sunday. And so that would include some food and the chamber table.
Okay.
And, it's a pretty successful event. People look forward to it. The vendors really look for,
It's successful.
the
for them.
artists look forward to it.
Do you if you want to do the same thing with the cones for loading and unloading?
It's a Saturday, no, they're okay with that because
Okay.
they come early enough and they also, the other thing that I will ask is if they can, as they have done in the past, put their tents up on Friday night, if they so wish.
Yeah,
They don't always.
yeah. I think if they just
That's
understand
like
that
at 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
they show up after 3, put up their tents, lock them down.
yeah, I assume that we don't have anything else. I mean, assuming there's nothing else going on the green, but I would doubt that there would be anything. Okay, trustees, do you have any questions?
Song, famous it ever was.
David Burns, Talking Heads. So I would make a motion to approve the use of the green permit for Art Fest for September 6th and 7th, allowing vendors to put up tents on the 5th if they so choose. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Next.
We're done with you, right?
Are you done?
Yes, I believe we're done with her.
There's one, can I have you? Beth, one of them wasn't signed, just make sure that it's signed. Here. I'm trying to give that to sign. Beth, I'm coming. Oh, sorry, I'm here. Yeah, sign that last. Just so we don't have it. Thank you. Okay, what's next? Municipal planning grant. Harry, come on up. Where am I?
Hello.
Hi.
Harry Butler from Two Rivers, Gucci Regional Commission, here to talk about, signing the resolution for, applying for the planning grant, to, fund a consultant to help rewrite the town and village plan.
Okay.
Yes, so I think I mentioned this the last time I was here a few months ago. Last 4 or 5 months now, I've been working with the planning commission on proposing a short-term town amendment to the village zoning bylaw. Really, the object of that is just to bring the bylaw into compliance with recent state housing law and to kind of clean it up and make it more usable generally. So that process is ongoing. We're about halfway through the 7 articles of the village zoning right now. So we're kind of keeping that on an ambitious timeline to have that ready to go to hearing by the end of the summer. So hopefully we'll keep on track with that, but it's going smoothly so far. And kind of the step 2, as I talked about last time I was here, of bringing the local regulatory environment, if you will, into alignment with state law is getting the town and village plan up to par. So there is a problem which I outlined the last time I was here, which is that the future land use chapter and the future land use map in the town and village plan actually just copy the zoning districts from the zoning bylaws, the village and town zoning bylaws, which is really not good practice because in Vermont, the town plan kind of creates a template and the bylaws have to align with it and have to comply with what is said in the future land use chapter. So what that means, if your zoning districts are the exact same as your future land use, is that you can't actually change the boundaries of any of the zoning districts, or change the purposes of the zoning districts until that
future land use map changes in the town plan. That's really not good practice. So the main object of this municipal planning grant application is to correct that, to address the future land use map and the future land use chapter. But while we're in there and we're applying for this big grant, it will address some other issues as well and kind of use the plan as a forum to talk about other big issues in town, like the water system, do some capital planning for that, identifying all the different needs that exist for the water system and kind of prioritize things and talk about how we might pay for all the needs that there are and how those needs might be balanced with other capital project needs that the town might have. So the school, the wastewater plant, et cetera. The town and village plan is a great forum to kind of do that. And it'll be a long kind of in-depth process with engaging a lot of people. And that's a great sort of thing to do while the town plan is open for amendment. So basically that's it. That's kind of the essence of the application that I've written. If you're interested in seeing like a full copy of what has gone into that application, I can send it. I'm still filling out a few things there, but it should be ready soon. And what I'm here for tonight basically is to have your vote on whether or not to submit the plan with that concept in mind, or excuse me, submit the application with that concept in mind. The financial ask of the state, the total project cost is just about $20,000. That is subject to a little bit of change as I iterate on the work plan that's going into the application and the budget. There's a 10% match requirement, so the town and village will have to chip in just under $2,000. If bear in mind that figure is a little bit subject to change, it'll be something just around that. If you get the grant, the application deadline is the end of this month, and we will know if we get it by the end of April. And the period of performance is 2 years. And it'll start as soon as May 1st, once the contract is executed. So 2 years from May 1st. Any questions about any of that?
Sounds great. Hope you get the grant.
Great.
Yeah, Eric, I just had one question. What would the breakdown between the town and village?
$2,000.
Yeah.
64, so like 120, 1,200, 800.
Okay.
And I do have to give this same spiel
Yeah.
to the select board as well and have them sign off
Yeah.
on the resolution. So pending their approval,
Yeah.
they'll go.
Okay. Trustees, do you have any questions for Harry about the grant application? Nope.
No.
No,
Frank, Brenda,
no.
Wendy, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Forgive me, you may have mentioned where the grant money is coming from, but I missed it. The application is going to what entity?
Yes, I'm sorry. So this is a state of Vermont grant that comes from the Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD. It's an annual program. It's running kind of late this year because the state just rebuilt its grant management platform. So normally this is on a annual cycle where you apply in around November, December, but they're obviously running late this year. So yeah, it's a March cycle this year. But yeah, it's a state grant.
Thank you. And I have one more question. Do you have you identified the possible recipient, the professional that would receive the grant money, or do you have to do a reach out after the grant comes through?
So that's a good question as well. For towns that are considered rural by Vermont standards, which is under 2,500 people, they can just sort of tag the Regional Planning Commission as the consultant who's going to do this work. Woodstock, obviously, unfortunately, a little bit too big to meet that designation, so you will have to do procurement. And we will bid on it, but there may be other people who will bid on it as well. Usually, regional planning commissions are kind of a shoo-in for this kind of work because we have a long track record of doing
We'll
this.
make you work for it.
Yeah, exactly. They do make us work for it. But there is like a boilerplate RFP on the state website that will help you get that issued. Unfortunately, because we're going to be bidding on it, we will not be able to help you with the procurement process if we get the grant and you need to do that. But the state kind of sets you up pretty easily to just copy and paste that.
Okay.
So.
Thanks for such thorough answers. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, so I make a motion to approve the concept of the grant put forward by Harry. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Harry.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
I think what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do is,
Do you need to sign something?
you will need to sign something. The majority of the board will need to sign off on this, resolution. It's a
Okay.
little awkward because I need the board, both boards to sign off on it. So I think what I'm gonna do is take this and copy and paste it stuff onto Woodstock letterhead, which is the other option,
Okay,
and, send it out electronically for all.
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Great. Great.
Yep.
Thanks, Harry.
I want to move things around just because we've got Todd here. Can we move Todd next
Yes.
so that he can
Yes.
leave? You're welcome to be part of all this conversation. The Keystone Block. And that's in your packet. Todd, come on up. It's very fast.
So I'm the select board last week, we're gonna have another board on. Yes. I would say. CEO of Keystone.
Your new title, right?
Apologize. I invited a pastor and his children over, not realizing they were sick.
Yeah.
All children are sick all the time. It's just,
Yeah,
it's a rule
I'm
here.
learning that in the Vermont hills,
Yeah.
so,
Well, we'll listen very carefully.
yeah. So, Keystone Block, transformed to is a project, we're looking at to transform, 3 to 5 Elm and 6 Center Street, which is, Colburn, Colburn, Nick Building,
Mhm.
and part in Echo, it's that whole corner. The reason we had to come up with a new name is because it's really 2 different blocks,
Okay.
so we just came up with a new name.
Wow.
Just to call it something. And so, in doing this, we've read about, it's been on the market for about 8 months now. And we've been asking $3 million for it. And I know 3 of the people that have looked at it, invest in it, to build, or to buy it and renovate. Pretty much, money to do so. So, as a resident of Woodstock, a creative idiot, I work in grants management and grants. I thought about it, and I realized that doing a little bit of research, there is potential for grants to help support this, which doesn't make it any more profitable. But it does make it a community event. And with that, the community gets input to what this happens. And it allows for a much more cohesive and creative way to revitalize this corner lot. So with that, I have many different general ideas of what I would like. I have nothing committed to paper or stone, because it really is a fluid process. I'm gonna listen to pretty much anybody and everybody. I'll let you know that to start this process, I did go to banks. I do have a bank that said they would not give me a penny to buy the building. They don't think anything about it. They would be interested in helping me and making sure that this gets done. I've talked to the 3 investors that are willing to look to buy it for themselves to make millions. And they will give me millions. Okay. To help support this project for the town. So I thought about it. I've covered these people. I've met with their representatives. They're in the Woodstock annual report. I worked with the contingent of people here in Woodstock, and doing this for more of an altruistic venture than anything else, because I do have a full-time job, and I have a couple places I can be at any time. It seemed fun, and it got me to sit there and come here and meet Eric and meet these people in the town. I met Stephanie the day I moved here, which is the day she moved here. Okay, she's been my best friend here ever since. I mean, I don't say secretly when I come here, I met her out once when she was out and about. But, I love it. So what I'm trying to do is, to talk to the owner of the building. It's definitely, there's issues. I don't need to go into those, but you guys probably know more about it than me. Hopefully not. But, I would like to apply for a Vermont Community Development Program, DCDP grant. It is a planning grant only. Okay, it's a unique opportunity. If any of these people that had millions of dollars and wanted to buy the building, they would do their due diligence before. It'd cost them a couple $100,000 to really get $100,000. We're applying for a $60,000 grant. We've got some seed money from a donor who $10,000. There is again a matching donating, a matching fund, which is be my time, which is definitely there. That can be the town's time. Grant comes to the town subcontract to the Woodstock community. I mean to the Keystone Block. Okay, and you know, and we have to do. We are working under and not with partnership or anything, but the Woodstock Community Trust is our advisor and helps us with the 503C requirement. Okay, they don't have the facilities to do this. They have the vested interest, which is the goal is this building is to reach what was something and make the town proud of what they got. So what everybody needs and wants, I hear, is a restaurant. Because we love the one that's there. They would clean, like that good food and a few other small little bit. The other piece is housing is an issue. So, and really for the working families in towns. So we would love for the people. I would like to live in becoming housing priority. That is the goal to the end of this split can't be. I won't give up on that component because I promised. That would be a commitment for this grant. It's a commitment that we do that. We do meet some requirements for housing, which is the low to mid income, low housing. So I did put a pre-application in, talk to the state heads, we talked to other communities that have done this bigger formats. And it was actually really
Nice.
And they said, okay. I said, well, I need more than an okay. I mean, is this viable? Is this on your radar?
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna put a grant in now. You know, and I had left field or what we're like, they'll help with packaging help, so they don't things. But they were excited about it. So, and so no business travel. And so we have some key dates, which is we had to put an advertisement in paper between that. Thank you. We have to have a town meeting and town hearing by 4/3/25, some sort of public hearing. We'll have that the next phase select board meeting the 24th of Monday for Tuesday standard day. Anybody, any citizen is allowed to ask questions. Planning is for really doing due diligence. Okay, it is to do an engineering report, which that's the first thing that's got to be done. Then it will be an environmental assessment, which is different levels. State will help subsidize these with this grant, 100% or with the 10% matching, but that 10% matching can be in kind. It would take the town about 12 hours worth of work. Which would be Stephanie's job for the most part, but applying for the grant, and she would have the computer access. And I would do the work as the subcontract, put it in the system. She would be the one as the town to submit. And she would have all review rights in her neck. Okay. And I'm still waiting for Eric to give me access, so hopefully after this meeting, he has nothing else to do.
Nothing.
So, the grant is due on 4/8/20. It's not a big application. It is, you know, you will all be able to see it's available. It's really to do those things and then, do an environmental historical assessment. And, if we feel that that's a go, okay, we can say it's a no-go. What money we spent, we can spend and we can return the rest. Nobody's out of loss. We find out that it's like a gas station oil leak in the street. We can say, no, the environmental assessment's gonna tell us we can't
Okay.
at this level do that. So we will learn these things. This information is the information in the tape. So you will learn a lot about what we got.
That's great.
Okay, which I think is helpful too. And you're getting it all for somebody else, help, with the town helping you. All these towns be really interested in getting this done. You guys. I don't know anybody who is in this part. And even the owner wants to get rid of it. He just can't.
And it's gonna be served through the select board, so this is more just so the trustees know the
Yeah.
process, because it's happening in the village and we wanna make. sure
Yeah,
that
I don't
we're
wanna
aware of it. And if you have any strong objections, the select board will also consider those.
Yeah, but I have a question in that regard.
Yeah.
Would it possibly, it may not be, an advantage to have both municipalities applying in terms of the weight that might carry?
The
in the
town
state?
and the village.
Yeah, for two separate municipalities.
This, I don't know, it just asked on the application to have one entity, you could pick one. You can pick two.
Yeah, we'd ask the question, I think the one issue will fall under is the public hearing
Yeah,
is
Hearing is
advertised as a select board.
Yeah.
Meeting, so it's not as advertised as a joint meeting,
correct.
so that could be an issue. But maybe the trustees could write a letter of support or a strong support.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
we are
never
gonna
done
be-
that.
the grant is gonna require letters of support from writing Eric, I mean, Eric is writing his.
Well, don't finish. Definitely good to get out of that.
But you did good, you did good years, I'm encouraged.
And Todd,
Yeah.
who's we?
We is Todd. And, I've been working with, and I will tell you, I really haven't told anybody yet, or we keep it quiet, I don't know if people like this person, don't like this person, I don't really care, honestly.
Yeah, like Todd said, public meeting, so we're gonna say
Whatever
here,
you-
public
Yeah,
knowledge,
it's
so
recorded.
if you can't say anything, that's just
Would you mind if we hold on?
Yeah.
Okay, if there's a
It's,
problem with it.
no, I think if you heard my words earlier, you
Yeah.
can surmise where it's coming from. Okay? It's not to be rude, it is. But I'm more than happy, I would like to just ask first.
Absolutely.
So
If it all goes wrong, blame Todd, is what he's trying to say.
that's exactly,
But if it all goes right, he gets all of the
they
credit.
all get the credit, they all have it. Okay, see, most people in town don't know me. Because I'm newer to, I've only been here 4 or 5 years and I live a mile outside of town. Which seems like I must be in the moving dot somewhere to see people. But if you live in town, it's like, it seems really. The thing about this is, there is a requirement of the owner. I'm still dealing with it, I'm hopeful and that somebody will support this.
So,
Yes,
do they own both buildings or
they own
one?
both buildings.
And the owner is,
Well, that's the conundrum I will give you, now that I can give you this, maybe you know, so. The bank is Dr. Robert Colbert. He is He owns the dirt, as you could say.
He owns both buildings.
He owns both dirt piles.
Okay,
Then,
we'll call them buildings.
okay, well, now it gets confusing because Ken Sturm went to him and said, I will buy the buildings. It's like you buying a house from the bank. Ken Sturm bought buildings from Dr. Coburn.
Both buildings.
Both buildings, but Dr. Coburn owns the mortgage.
Okay, so Dr. Coburn
Owns both buildings.
owns. Stern bought the buildings, but Co is still, so technically.
So that's like the bank owns my house. that I
Right,
just paid.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's this house, yes, it's a
Yeah,
bank,
okay,
yes, just instead of a bank, it's Coburn. Banco Coburn.
there you go. Cool.
Okay. So,
Okay, the problem is. Ken Sturm, my understanding.
Can I just for a second? This may go in front of a legal setting, so it might be best if we.
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Not that one off, but what I'm hearing is.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so I
it's,
wanna-
it's been legal for years
Yeah.
and years, there's multiple
Okay.
fights that have
Yeah.
gone over
So
that.
anyway,
So there's more players than just.
Well, I was just, my question really was, who do they own? Both
yes.
buildings.
One guy,
Owns both
one
buildings.
entity,
got it.
So he owns the Cabot and the,
Yes.
yes, you know, the two for years.
Yeah. to the second floor of the Cabot, building used to be the funeral home, first floor is a furniture store.
Yes, I know.
Got the history.
Um,
And I have all the stories.
So he has to buy a letter of support.
Yeah.
Okay, I was supposed to meet with his lawyer yesterday. He didn't meet with, I'll call back tomorrow. But, they have to support the scope of the project. I just told you those three major things. If you like it, then we can get into design, detailed design. General design, detailed design, and really get into very detailed costs. We have general cost analysis. And then we would have something to go to investors and to the bank with. I have presented a capital step to the bank. They are aware of what we're doing it. It's gonna take. It's not gonna happen tomorrow.
No.
Because, they have to give us access to the building to do this work. And they have to make it available, the property available throughout the whole time frame of this grant. One of their questions to me was, how long does it take? And I historical, I can Google this. Historical review is 30 days. I said, environmental review is based on the environment. It's not to be rude, but if you got clean dirt, it should be pretty bad. You know, how bad your environment is, he kind of knows where his environment is. So I said, that I don't know. That is, there's different levels of review based on how things go. So that could take longer. And then in industrial engineering, I think is reasonable. They probably need a few weeks to get out there and then a while, I don't know, maybe 2 or 4 weeks to put together a report. Depending on how big the firm or whatever. So, but the grant does take, it does take a little bit of time. And the final thing is he has to have a willingness to sell the property. And it has to be at the assessed value. Right now it's assessed at $900,999. But it would have to be at an appraised value. I mean, an appraised value. Okay, it's assessed right now. So. You know, he's not gonna get. But so far, he's not. I told him, and I told his real estate agent and his lawyer, I put it in writing, is that if they find somebody who wants to pay them more than I can, I will come shake their hand and I win. I will get a new building. The town will get a new building. You know, might not meet all of the dreams and hopes that everybody in town wants. I'm satisfied that it'll be an explosive building.
So what do you want from us?
To let you know, because you're gonna get. There's a possibility of people asking about.
Okay, all right.
Since I brought it to the trustees, I was asked to present it to you and the city, and I felt fine with that. And I really like learning about requirements.
And if a letter of support would be helpful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
we
want
can
a letter
definitely
of
talk about
support.
Yeah.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, and I will be getting letters of support from them. Okay, I will be reaching out this week for all of them. And I know the other properties in town. The big pieces that it would move on is that we can put work on memory now. The market rate housing, we can make we're talking around $6 million base from right now. Not
Respect.
okay, so I'm more than happy to question Kitty, Coco, and anybody else.
No, I just, if you, I mean, I think we're all in support of doing a letter.
Mhm.
I'm happy to write that, because that's what the job is. So if you wanna shoot me an email, or we can talk offline
Yeah,
about what might be helpful.
well, how much more, how much longer for the meeting, not to be rude.
Oh, no, we have,
5 more things?
5 more things.
Thanks, and executive session.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's gonna be, but I'm happy to talk to you. I can give you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be meeting you for something else.
Oh, yes, you are.
Okay,
Yeah, so, yeah, and I think
and then.
you have access to my email and my phone number.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's talk.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Todd.
yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I really
Thank you, Todd.
appreciate-
Wish you well.
Thank you. It's gonna go well. It's
It
gonna
is.
go well. We'll get a new building.
It's for a pinball machine, all I want.
Well, and
Football wizard.
I want a community group.
Here for it.
Dance floor. Dance.
Yeah. You want this? You-
Yeah, Pride of Woodstock has plans for that room.
And the future.
We can spy on Jeffrey's store.
Yeah, long story, but yes.
Okay, thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. Feel better.
Do we have anybody from White Cottage or 33 Central?
33 Central may be online. I see Will and Eliza are on Zoom. I'm sure if they're actually there or not.
Because we can talk, is there anybody from White Cottage?
No, I can talk to them about that quickly.
Okay,
Eliza,
We're here.
Yeah, 33 Central's on.
okay, then let's do them next, so that they can go to bed.
That the red apron pizza.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, the trustees came to agreement on an easement for that kind of spot between the crosswalk and the first parking space. What we all found out shortly afterwards is that there's a water pipe kind of very close to that spot. There was concern on all parties of if that road would be dug up to get to the pipe, what would happen to the tank under the easement. So what they're proposing now is to move the easement over to where that first parking lot is, decrease the size of that parking space so that other first space could become a parking spot instead. So in theory, you wouldn't lose a parking space. It would just, the easement would be moved a little bit over more to the west a little bit.
We're not smaller a parking space.
Yeah, you wouldn't lose any parking spaces.
The footprint stays the same.
But the parking space that would be moved to where you previously thought your tank was gonna go would be the same size as our other parking space.
It has to be, yes.
Okay.
So it has to be 8 or 9 feet wide and like 19 feet thick.
That was my only concern, that we don't lose a parking space. Otherwise, I'm for letting.
How big is that whole space? I'm just confused.
This space is the current parking space. This will get smaller so that this space can get bigger. So
Okay.
that this can be a proper parking space.
Okay, so
And then- so
they're
then-
just shifting.
Yeah, they're shifting, and so then this space will become a proper parking space.
That
This-
one will be
this
the
one.
same size, the
Yeah,
appropriate size.
So there will be parking space, the propane tank, and then the parking space here.
For We're just
Down-
like cutting and pasting from one zone to the other.
I got
And
it.
one thing in your plans you have to be careful of is that with parking spaces on either side, and you've got stanchions, as I recall, cars must be able to open their doors.
Bollards.
Bollards, yes, bollards. Yeah. With the placement of the bollard.
Right on the far hand side, that's no problem at all, right? There's the white crosswalk hatching painted lines.
Right.
So
But the-
that would be a nice big spacious spot for someone.
Right.
Unless there's a car driving down the street.
On the other side, of course, there are the bollards, but we have to, we're being mindful of that. We also know that we need to plow. So we're thinking about all of that stuff at the same time.
Yeah, and these plans were drawn up by an engineer, so I believe they're approved, and I certainly hope that the engineer considered all that.
Yeah.
So you would plow the new parking space or just, because that's, I'm confused.
No, so this would be the town currently
Right.
process, so they have to plow this and then they just have to go around.
Right, and so when you said plow, what are you talking about plowing?
I think you're into space there, so it could be plowed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, they're not doing the plowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's hiring Gary Corsi and doing some shoveling.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my only concerns are being able to open up doors of cars and then, Eric, have you talked to Chris about, does he have any, or does anybody have any concerns about doors opening into that alley?
I have not talked to anyone about that yet, no. So doors would open up into a crosswalk, potentially. I think there's, I'm not, do you know how much differences there is between the back of the wall and where the parking spot starts, is like 5 feet?
I think it's more than that. I want to say it's 10 to 15, but don't quote me on that, but it's certainly more than 5.
So as long as the car would be enough distance of people walking would be able to see the door.
Yeah, we see it. I don't think that's a problem, good, because the crosswalk is there. Not
As
going
long
into
as the
it's not going
drivers
into
can
the
open their
pathway
door.
of cars.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's something we just keep an eye on, and if there's any issue, we can, I don't know, do a mirror or something like that.
Yeah, I think
Have a
if
picture of it somewhere.
the trustees want to agree to this change, we probably wrap a new, I looked at the old easement, but the location prior to change, we probably want to update the easement agreement too, just to make sure it's the right location.
Yeah. I'm in favor of this change.
And so, and you guys were gonna do some, you're changing the back, right? I'm just trying to remember. Are you changing the door? And you're like adding a little deck or something?
Nope, nothing in the rear is changing.
Well, we are adding a ramp, an ADA ramp.
That's
Okay.
in the plan. Yeah, it's been in the plans the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to think, so the door and
That would become a parking space.
yeah, so this becomes a parking space.
Right.
I just wanna make sure that the car doesn't block access to the door or the ADA ramp. Is it an ADA ramp or is it just a ramp?
It's an ADA ramp.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
ADA ramp. I don't believe that's going to be an issue. And again, we had an engineer draw this up.
Okay,
I think an ADA ramp has to be 3 feet wide.
okay, so then there's gonna be space somewhere from that ramp. That there's 3 feet between cars. I have a picture of the back of the building.
Yep.
Just trying to see. And just trying to get a better sense of how that's gonna come off. Okay. Yeah, as long as it doesn't block the back door. Then people can still get out that back door.
They will, because
Yep.
the
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, they'll
Okay.
be able to get out.
And so if the trustees are in favor of this, or in favor of this, what we can do is have the attorneys fix the easement updated. And in the meantime, I can have Chris O'Keefe and Chris Barber out there with me, and maybe someone from Plan and Zoning Office, just to make sure everything.
Yeah, I just wanna
Works.
double check on all that. I mean,
Yep.
I'm,
Yeah, that makes
doing-
sense.
yeah, I just wanna see the
Yeah.
updated things. So what's the motion we need to to move the motion is to move,
Honestly, I don't think you probably need to vote until you're in the easement in front of you.
okay,
So I think you just instructed me to update the easement and get back in front of you.
yes, please do so.
Good.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to update us on, pizza folks, or this is it?
Just plugging away.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, awesome, thank you so much, I appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Next we'll do the White Cottage food truck. Eric, you're gonna talk to us about that?
Yeah, so last year, the White Card reached out to me, they reached out to me again this year, interested in doing a food truck. Basically from May up until Labor Day, try to be open 6 days a week, maybe just close on Tuesdays. After Labor Day, kind of not be as open, but be somewhere in the village, providing food Sunday, Monday, definitely, and then the other days of the week. The big concern on their end is this is a new thing for them, so they have to hire the staff. We know they do a lot of, I believe, H1 visas. And then also get the truck and update it, so they kind of, before they're doing any work and do the permit and everything else, they want to see the trustees' appetite for such a thing being present in the village for a significant amount of time from, May all through summer, up through foliage. And he's flying up from Florida today, so that's why we can't be there in person.
I'm all for it. We have such a strong need, especially if he's gonna be open Sundays and Mondays. I'm all for it.
But he wants to be on the green?
He didn't specify where he'd want to be, but I think the green or somebody nearby would be where the most business would be, and the most visible sites.
It'd be in a parking space.
On the green? Or where, I mean, that's my question, like that's,
We would have to make a decision on where we would allow it if we wanted to allow it.
yeah,
I mean, really, that's only realistic. The green down by the History Center or East End is the three spots where
The green makes sense
Some
because you
will be
got the
parking
picnic tables there,
visible.
and we've done it there in the past, food trucks there in the past.
I mean, presumably you have to plug something in, we don't want a generator on the green.
Yeah, depending on what food truck you have, probably something similar to have access to,
And when you need access to water,
I don't know that answer. Again, it depends on what food truck he has and what the capability of it is.
Probably not.
well, if he's there for 4 months,
We'd have to, yeah, you'd have to move the truck and
well, that's the
refill it
question.
with water every day. Yeah.
So I mean, the way I look at this is if there's an appetite for the trustees to consider this, I then ask them probably to come in front of you.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then you can go.
great.
yeah,
Come-
yeah, no, I'm happy to have the
come speak to us,
conversation.
but-
I think there's a ton of logistics.
Yeah, I mean, we have let the Montverde Blue Mini is.
But they're on private property.
But still, it's, it's another food truck, so.
Yeah, but they're on private property and they can do whatever they want. This is,
Right.
On the green.
So let them come talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want community input on that, but, yeah, and if he's got ideas of like, what are multiple places that he could park and.
What does he want to offer for food?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
Fried mushrooms, important. Okay, next item on our agenda is, and we can just start having this conversation. So we need to have any decisions made tonight. I apologize, I was gonna present this last month and then wasn't here. Kitty helped me put together this list of permits. It was Kitty, right? Or was it you?
Kitty.
It was Kitty. Okay, I can't remember. I just took a quick look at all the permits that we have, and if we have an application fee or a use fee or any of those sorts of things. And I wanted us to take a look, especially considering our budget situation. And are we comfortable with these? Are there things that we think we can raise? Are there things that we think we can do differently? That idea that Gary and Todd both had about, if we want to do add-ons, like if you wanna parking spaces, then you pay for it for a couple of hours. So
I like the idea of parking space add-ons.
Yeah,
I
so
think
that could
that's
be
a really
something that,
good, yeah.
but creating rules around it, obviously, because sometimes we don't want to do that, but I think it's worth talking about. One of the things that I thought was odd here was the one thing that I think is too expensive is the permit or the banner on the green permit application. $50 seems to be a lot for that. That doesn't do any damage and it doesn't take up a lot of manpower, but I'm happy to be challenged on that. I think that's something that we could knock down, but things like the parade permit is, maybe not, no, what was the one? Sorry.
See,
The-
I'm here if you want to ask me questions.
Yeah, I was just, the banner permit seems a lot, but the, parade permit, considering how much it requires, seems like maybe that could be higher, but I'm welcome to talk about it. The sidewalk, that seems a little low for how much, depending on how much sidewalk gets used. So the Girl Scouts pay the same amount that, a huge thing on the side that,
The chamber pays.
yeah, the chamber pays and it,
Yeah.
5 feet versus, I don't know, 100 feet. So that's something that I would love to talk about. Just, do we make it by size? Do we make it by storefront? Something like that. It just seems that there's a more equitable way to do that. And then even looking at, and I'll put Pride in this, but, Pride, we don't do a sidewalk permit, but we do a parade permit for the race, which is fine, but people are gonna be taking up the sidewalk. Do you consider that a use of sidewalk permit? Because you really are sort of blocking the space with people looking. So this is the first conversation of a lot of conversations, and I just wanted to get everybody thinking about it, and I certainly want the community to provide input on what they think, and if things are too high, too low. So that's that. So just, again, first conversation.
And I assume most of these are in ordinance already, so everyone will be updated in written ordinances.
Yeah.
And can we put it into an amendment and get it out of the ordinance?
For some of them, yeah, but so I mean, like the Green Gore is one ordinance, East Sandstone ordinance. Other ones I think are just permits, so it would be easier to change.
Yeah, and I think we've also heard from people in the past about, especially when we were changing the use of the green and the gore, there was lots of comments about like East End is really, really expensive. And it is really not getting much use. And so if we want it to be used and it's a great space, maybe we're charging way too much for that. So take a look at it. And maybe I can look at between now and May or June. There's not a hurry on this, but look at what other places do and what their costs are.
I can take a look at that. I'm pretty good at searching that.
Oh, good. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes. So can I make a comment, Seaton? Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Kitty.
Okay. I do agree with you on the banner permits maybe being a little bit too expensive, but permit that we have, which is the parade, at the moment has no fee associated with it. So I went from 0 to whatever you all decide. Some of the other permits were like incrementally going up as far as price, but they weren't astronomical increases. It was just kind of a general increase because of the amount of work. I have to take the permit, and then I have to log it into our system, and then it has to go in front of you guys on the board, and the ones that go in front of the board also should have a fee because the amount of time they spend also for you to come and for the person to come to speak to you and to explain what the permit is and what the nature of what they're doing for their event. But can you hear me?
Hold on a sec. Hold on. Eric, do you have a cost analysis of how much it costs for Kitty to do any of these permits?
I mean, the easiest thing is just how much time it takes per permit. I mean, it would be differ on if someone comes with the whole thing fully baked and fully filled out, or if you have to interact 2 or 3 times.
I think that would be helpful.
It's that, and then like, I don't disagree with the banner, but then we're also asking 1 or 2 DPW staff to come.
You're right,
and
you're
put
right.
the banner up, there's a
Yeah,
price,
okay.
so.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kitty. I just wanted, because it sounds like it's a,
Mention that.
That's a great idea to have a little bit of cost analysis, Lisa, and that was kind of one thing I was almost getting at. Sorry, it took me a moment to get there, but yeah, that the cost for my time, for your time, that should weigh into it, but the increases shouldn't be too dramatic. They just should, most of them should be incremental, but the parade having no permit fee at all seems like that's,
I know that.
that's the one that needs to be changed, I think, the most out of any of the permits. So that's my most, that's my biggest take out of looking through all of this.
Eric, it would be nice to know what you cost it out to be.
Yeah, well, we have do some tracking of for time on different permits.
Okay.
and
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
I also think we need to, unless you have any other data, but like, do people get yard sale permits?
No, I think you look at the revenue,
I mean, do we need yard sale?
for money so far this year.
Yeah.
Hasn't brought in any budget, $50 for it. I mean, $50 is,
I mean, do we, if there's somebody that can make an argument that we need to permit yard sales, but I don't quite understand why we need to. You don't need, that you shouldn't have to have a permit unless you're like doing something massive.
I agree.
But that would be like a peddler's license to my mind.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's no big deal. It's $10.
But if nobody's using it, why have a law that? Well,
It seems a little silly because they have to come to me and they have to ask questions, and then for $10, it's for them to like have some of their belongings out on their property. It seems like a little cumbersome and like not necessary. But that's just maybe it's my opinion on the subject.
so I would propose to get rid of that unless there's an argument to be made, whatever. Anyway, so first conversation, thank you, Kitty, for putting work into it. A lot more work to do, but I would love to add this to the agenda next month and just sort of give people a heads up that we're talking about it and get some community input. Okay, next item up for discussion is parking update.
Well, I'm doing one thing. Jeffrey wants to talk about something else, but I can say that I've completed all the ordinance reading, gone back and gotten the history on the parking.
Okay.
That's completely done. I'm now going out and talking to people about it. Hearing what people have to say, business owners, people who live here. So that's where I'm at, because I'm looking more at rewriting the ordinance itself, with the one thing being that there's an amendment for the prices and not in the ordinance, because right now,
So we can change it more easily.
but Jeffrey has a separate issue, so I'm kind of on my track.
Okay.
So Jeffrey is on a different track, so.
Okay.
Well, what I'm interested in discussing tonight is not for very long either, but I brought this up for at least 3 trustees meetings. We've talked about the need to find more funds to support the village stock. And we're finding ways, like we just discussed, of raising things from $25 to $30, $5 to $50 and so forth. But I think it's important to make a dent in the potential tax liability, especially with where taxes have gone up in the village. And one way we could do that is to raise the parking meter fees. Now, in the past, we've talked about, and we've gotten estimates of what it would be if we did that year round to $1.50. But in talking to Lisa, I've come around to thinking, it might be best if we did this just during the busiest times of the year. So if we did it from July 1st to January 1st, those 6 months, that's when we have the most visitors from out of state. who are used to paying far more than what we're charging now anyway. And they are the majority of the people using the meters during that time period. I think it would be really beneficial and would be a major income source, probably somewhere on the order of $50,000 potentially. If it was year round, we talked about 75, but that's also including the slower time of the year. So I would like to see us have it on the agenda for next month to consider an amendment to the current, because Lisa's not ready with a new ordinance, an amendment to the current ordinance that would change that, and that it would go into effect July 1st of this year, and there would be time for that to happen. The other part of it is that we could consider is to roll back the time 4 to 5 in the afternoons back to 4. If by instituting this, giving locals a chance in the morning, which we already do up until 10, but also in the afternoon between 4 and 5 to shop without putting money into the meters. So it would raise our income, and at the same time, that part would make it easier for locals to find free times. So that's what I would like us to have on the agenda for next month. And Eric, you described the timing that this could possibly work at to accomplish that.
Yeah, you're looking at ordinance needs 60 days before it goes into effect. If you want it by July 1, the trustees will want to vote on it by April 30th.
So we do have to change the ordinance.
Right now, as you know, the ordinance is very confusing. And we're trying to get to a very clear cut department ordinance.
Which is, yeah, we're.
But the one you most recently voted on, I think in November, is the apartment ordinance that has a fee schedule and a time schedule on it. So that'd be an update to the ordinance, which would be trigger the 30 days for a petition and then 60 days before it goes into effect.
So we could do that with the one that's in existence from November.
Yes, if you want to, correct.
And which doesn't mean we couldn't continue to change the whole ordinance and make it simpler. And then you would just add the parts in that we amend.
My brain is in there. So no matter what, we're gonna have to change the ordinance because the fee schedule is within the ordinance.
If you want to change the fee schedule, correct. Yeah.
So we have to do it. We can't make an amendment. We have to change it within the ordinance.
The way I understand the ordinance to be written and the way
I've been reading it, yeah.
Is that it is an ordinance now, not in a resolution, so therefore you need to change an ordinance.
So, but still trying to be clear, we could change the ordinance that currently exists.
You're talking about changing the ordinance twice?
No, well, Lisa's not ready with the overall change. If she was, then we could just include this in it.
But are you talking about changing, I just want to make sure that I understand. Are you talking about changing the ordinance?
To change the fee structure.
Wait, hold on a second. Changing the ordinance, changing the fees in the ordinance, or are you talking about changing the ordinance and saying we're fully changing the ordinance to say the fee structure is no longer part of the ordinance?
No, I guess Eric says that it has been.
Well, so.
Or if we could do it the way the short-term rental.
So to the point, if you want to change the fees, you have to change the ordinance.
Correct.
And you could do it either way, either change the fees in the ordinance or change it to have a schedule of fees that's attached to the ordinance, and then have the schedule of fees be whatever fee you want it to be. So you could do it either way, but either way it's going to trigger
the 60 days.
60 days.
Either way, it triggers the 60 days. That's why I just want us to contemplate this and be able to come to a decision so that if the trustees are in agreement that this would be a good thing to do, that it could happen on July 1st, which means we would have to move on it next month.
As I know, if we update the ordinance and we do it more like in other towns are, don't we have to go through the lawyer with that? Of course. Yep, so that
But we don't need a lawyer if we want to just change this part.
No, I'm talking about the other. piece.
Oh, yeah.
So I will say too, I mean, you do also have a meeting next Tuesday night. There's a reorg meeting, but you can have other things on the agenda if you want to continue this conversation. You give that time as well.
Did yours just bug out of your head?
So,
I mean, to me, it's a good way to provide income to the village without hurting, to the benefit of the taxpayer.
Frank, Brenda, comments? Yeah. We've been talking.
I kind of agree with Jeffrey.
On which part?
On all of what he said, really. I agree with what he said.
There were two different things. So it is change the ordinance. The fees are in the ordinance. So the question, I don't know which one you're proposing. Are you proposing we change the fees in the ordinance, or are you saying we vote to take the fees out of the ordinance and then have a separate vote on the new fees? Because the first one would require.
Whichever one would be easiest for the future. I don't care which one. I want to see the income for the village of Woodstock in the manner I described. 6 months of the
Okay,
year.
well, I would like to do it in a smart, in a way that we're not redoing it, because if we change the ordinances, if we leave the fees in the ordinance and we change it from $1 to $2, then the next time we want to change it, we have to change the entire thing again. So if we're going
Let's
to
keep it simple.
So it's the simplest thing would be to make it sort of like the short-term rental thing where they can be changed.
the fee schedule, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a fee schedule.
So then the vote, the proposal would be, we would be going to take the fees out of the ordinance. That's 60 days. And then assuming that there's no challenges and it goes into effect, we need to have a new fee schedule ready to go into effect on day 61.
Correct, but you have that fee schedule voted on when you vote to change the ordinance too, if you want.
Yeah,
Okay,
and my suggestion is $1.50, not $2.
okay, yeah, I was thinking an example. So then my next steps would be, one, we need to know from the police if we can change it for just 6 months out of the year. What does that do to things that we don't know about, the tickets, all those sorts of things? What is the communication that's required? How much do they think that we can possibly bring in, can be ballpark?
Robert gave us an answer on that.
Okay, well, if he can get us, we need to have that number. And then if you have a fee schedule, we need the exact language of what gets cut out of the ordinance. And then a proposed fee schedule of exactly how that's gonna work. So if that's something you wanna pursue, I'm all for having that conversation, but I can't do that work. So
And I can't do all of it either, and I would be asking Eric to help.
do you have the bandwidth to do that?
That's a trick question. Right now, no. To be frank, I think the priority for us internally is the water system and trying to get that up and running and trying to figure out how to do that. That's kind of where all our heads are at and our time's at. I can see how difficult it would be to make those changes, but I want to look at it and see, give me a few days to see how difficult it would be, and I know you know.
Okay.
And then it has to go through our lawyer, who's very busy right now as well.
Yeah, I'll go through one of them, yeah.
So that's all to say, I'm in favor of having the conversation. But respectfully, it's on you if you want to get it all put together, all the ordinance stuff, all that sort of stuff. Because I can't do
Okay,
it.
as long as I can get some advice on how to do it, I don't think it's that difficult I just need the correct wording.
I think too, Michelle Sullivan's on vacation till, I think Sunday.
Yeah,
When
14,
she comes
yeah.
back, I think she can
So-
answer these questions for us easily.
Yeah, so, and we need the answers to all those questions, but can you change them? Is there a process that we need to be aware of?
Yeah, we need that answer, but I'm
And
quite
then-
confident that they can
And then
change.
the stick, you know, obviously the stickers have to change too, like from this state to this state, it says from this state to this state. All those sorts of things. And then I'm happy to have the conversation, but I'm opposed to changing the time because we just changed it. So I'd want to stick with the time just because we literally just changed.
I just wanted to mention appendix K to the parking, that's the violation and it's appendix, so we can change that, correct, Eric, without having to do anything, or is that one?
No, because the way if you read the newest ordinance, it says that all the appendixes and all the, proposals were overridden by the new ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay, so those appendixes don't really exist anymore.
No,
But then that ordinance also references those appendix in it, so that's why Lisa got the job a while back of looking at this ordinance, trying to clean it up, because it really makes no sense.
no, none of them, no, very few of it.
So do we have an enforcement mechanism for parking right now or not?
Yeah, but I mean, there is an ordinance that has a fee schedule and time schedule that,
But not K, it's something else.
it's in the ordinance, but the ordinance as written, it's the language in the ordinance.
Okay. But appendix K is not it, somewhere else. Okay. Okay, so those are the next steps. Then if you've got it,
And let's have it on the agenda, please.
yeah, just get all the stuff to Kitty and to the lawyer, I guess. Okay, any permit? Oh, the permit rules for the flags and the parking meters?
Yeah, you talked about this a few months ago and we never came to a conclusion. Pride asked to have flags and the parking meters that was approved by the trustees, typically around Veterans Day, Memorial Day. I believe the Legion or Zion Temple puts in American flags on those meters. That's tradition. There's never been any rules on it one or the other. It is village property. So I think you had discussed if we want rules for it, if so, what those rules would look for, or if we want to keep it ad hoc as the American flags would just go in for those two holidays. And then if anyone else wanted flags, they come in from the trustees and ask for permission.
But there's been no movement on that.
No.
No, that was a couple months ago.
Okay, so if we want to do this, does anybody want to take it up? If not, we're just gonna have to push this off because I can't do this. Okay, well then we'll just push it off. Okay. We'll just drop it. So in the meantime, presumably, and I'm biased because it's Pride, but when Pride comes around and that Friday comes around, if there's other flags in the flag holders, what are the instructions? I can stand over there if it makes it better, or I can, I've got my Pride shirt here, if you need to literally change shirts.
I think we probably want to get some message out to people who have the American flags up that the pride flags have been approved.
Okay, and if we have other people requesting, obviously,
Yeah,
if the Irish Legion comes forward and wants something for next.
for this weekend for St.
Yes,
Patrick's Day.
exactly. Go to my house. Okay. Then I think we don't have anything else on there. So in that case, I would make a motion to move into executive session under 1 VSA 313 to discuss, labor relations agreements. No, that's wrong. Oh, confidential attorney-client communications, for legal services. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Okay, motion carries. Can we take that computer in, or should I can FaceTime them?
I would base on them.
Okay, I will.
All right, say again.
Oh, Frank and Brenda, I will FaceTime you.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And just Brandon, make sure you go on mute when you
Yeah, right.
go in there, yeah. so,
Oh.
okay.
We're out of executive session. Is there any other business to come before the trustees this evening? Please tell me no.
Well, only really quickly about this thing about should I try to get the popcorn stand open
Oh,
for the time between 7 and 7:30 on Tuesday night to encourage people to come mix and talk.
yeah,
If you want, yeah.
See if Deborah Green agrees to it.
Yeah.
And if she does, then I'll ask Kitty to send out an email for, listers that.
okay.
they-
And we are,
Does
the
he have minutes, Trooper?
village meeting starts 7:30 in the theater downstairs. And then after village meeting, we will come back up here for our reorganization meeting.
Do we have to do it down there?
Why do we just?
Wait, I was such a small crowd.
I think we had a meeting that we were overcrowded up here,
Yeah.
and so we went downstairs, and we weren't prepared to go downstairs, and it was kind of a catastrophe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just prepping,
Just in case.
just in case we have more than 30, 40 people show up. Which would be the goal, to have 100 people here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Ready for popcorn, ready for popcorn. We'll be prepared. And then we'll move up here for the reorg because it will be, no one stays around for that one. Okay, so everybody come out and vote on Tuesday. Any other business? No, popcorn, done. Okay, approval of minutes from the 11th and the 25th of February. Do you have anything, Jeffrey?
yes, just some quick things. Kitty already changed one thing.
Okay.
Which it's unfortunate because her misspelling did have the police providing presents, PRESENTS.
Well, present.
And she meant to say present.
Oh.
See, but.
So we had this
She changed,
discussion.
she changed that. It's not on our printed, but it's changed. But here's some others. February 11th, manager's report. Eric Duffy, the last sentence there, during this winter apostrophe S, please.
Okay.
2 sentences past there. Molly Maxim's name is misspelled. It's MAXHAM, not AXIN. That should be changed. The financial report. Eric Duffy noted that under expenses, instead of has, it should say that we transition. Or delete has altogether, either way. On the next page under E, votes, Girl Scout troop, sidewalk permit, second sentence. It's not any Jenny, it's Amy Jenny.
Oh,
Just spelling her name correctly. And those were all of the corrections that have not already been made.
okay.
Yeah.
Then I would make a motion to approve the minutes for February 11th, 2025, with the changes that Jeffrey has. And then, minutes of February 25th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Make a motion to adjourn. Is there a
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Motion carries. We are
I
adjourned.
got one in.
Thank you all.